So you've just got yourself a diode laser and you want to start making projects right now. That's how I was anyway, and maybe you're not too savvy with designing or the software just yet. Well, great news. In this video, I'm exploring the best places on the internet to find free resources and kickstart your laser engraving journey. Say goodbye to confusion and hello to inspiration. Now, I've found that many free resources, the only question you're going to have to ask yourself is which one do I start first? G'day, I'm Darren from Mr. Craftsmith. I'm super excited for this video, and if you stick around to the end, I'll share a little gift with you that I know you can't wait to get your hands on. Okay, let's jump in and get started.
Now, before we jump into it, I just want to quickly shine a light on copyright. Now, imagine you paint a beautiful picture. It's your creation, right? Now, you wouldn't want someone just taking it and saying that they made it. Now, that's where copyright comes in. It's like an invisible shield that protects creators' original works, ensuring only they decide how their creations are used. So when we talk about laser engraving designs, it's crucial to be aware of copyright. Now, using someone else's design without permission, well, that's a bit of a no-no. But don't stress, the resources we're sharing today are free and ready for you to use without any worries. Okay, so we're going to break this down into 3 categories, and the first category that we're going to have a look at is images. And then we'll be looking at, which is more like your photos and those sorts of things. And then we're going to move into your SVG and your clip art and vector type files. And then finally, we'll look at the laser projects themselves. So there's quite a few of those that we're going to have a look at. So bear with me. It's really important to go through some of this information with you, so just so as you have a better understanding of what you can or can't use. And the first place I want to point you to when it comes to images, as an example, is Creative Commons. And that's what we're looking at here is the website. If you want to find out more information about Creative Commons and the types of licenses that are applicable, basically what it means is that people can, or the artists can attribute, ask for attribution if you want to use their stuff, or you can use it without attribution, or you can use it for personal use, or you can use it for personal and commercial use. So there's a bunch of different things to look at there, but I won't go into it too deeply because that could be a whole video in itself. But creativecommons.org is a really great website to understand a little bit more about image rights and those sorts of things. And one of the things that you can do, so one of the first search engine that you can actually use is bing.com, and which is a little bit different to Google Chrome, but I'm sure there's a similar sort of thing with Google Chrome. But basically, if you go into bing.com and go under images, what you're then able to do is you can put a filter on, right? So if we have a look over here on the right-hand side, we've got the filter, and we can see that we can filter this by license type. Okay, so basically here we've got a list of all the different license types: Creative Commons, public domain. Now, public domain just means it's artworks or representations that don't come under copyright. So you're free to use those. And there's a whole bunch of resources out there under public domain, which I think could make some really interesting projects. And we'll cover off a couple of those in just a moment. We've got free to share and use commercially, etc., etc. So if we pop under all Creative Commons, and let's just say we wanted to draw wanted an image of a plane. So I've got vintage plane drawing there, and I've got Creative Commons. So there's a whole bunch of listings here. Now, I can't guarantee the accuracy of this because I don't run Bing and the search engine, and I don't, there's going to be some instances where they may not actually be covered under Creative Commons. So if you are looking at them, if you're breaking that down and you want to have a look further, then certainly you can, if you click on an image, it's a pretty interesting image that could make a nice silhouette of a vintage plane. Just do your own further investigation to make sure that it is actually able to be used under that Creative Commons or public domain. So that's one proviso. So that's a really good search engine, which is bing.com, and then search under images. And you can certainly get started in as far as finding a whole bunch of illustrations there. Now, the next page I want to point you to is Flickr, which is a photo sharing website. And I've got here flickr.com/commons/usage. And basically what they've got here is the catalogue of the world's public photo archives, which is pretty awesome. You could spend days and days and days looking at this sort of stuff. So here's a bunch of participating institutions, and a lot of these will be government organisations because that's all public domain information, and so there's no copyright in relation to usage of that. So there is a plethora of sites that you can start looking at there. And one, for example, that I jumped into, Internet Archive Book Images, which is under here somewhere. So I jumped on there and I had a look here. So this is just basically like old encyclopedias and things like that, where they've catalogued all of these amazing illustrations. So this page here is all butterflies and moths and things like that. And you can search to your heart's content, or if we go back a little bit further here, they've got some fish, different kind of fish species, and it can really make the process of your projects so much more interesting if you can add some of these, vintage type illustrations. So let's just go back to those butterflies for an example, and I'll show you a quick example of how we might be able to process that one. Oh, there's some frogs as well, toads, snakes, all sorts of things. So if we go back to the moths here, I'm just looking for one that's got some pretty decent resolution. So this one here might be a good example that we can have a go and see what it might actually look like. So I'm clicking on that image there. Yeah, it's a little bit blurry, but we never know. We'll have a look and see what it looks like. So there's lots of different details on the wings there. So if we look over here in the bottom right-hand corner, I can click on the download this photo. And it's got all the sizes there. And I'm just going to go with the original, which is 1532 by 636 pixels. And that one's good. Now, I'm going to open that one in Photoshop. Now, you could do this with any photo imaging program. So here we have that image there. Now, how do I convert this so that it's good for engraving or use in your projects within Lightburn or something like that? So we'll be focusing on Lightburn. So the first thing I want to do is I'm just going to go a hue saturation layer, and I'm going to select this yellow color, and I'm just going to bump up the lightness. So all of a sudden that brings up the brightness of that image. I'm then going to convert it to black and white, which is another layer. And then I'm going to do a levels adjustment. I'm running through this pretty quickly because I have done a video on this. So we can sort of see here where that big lump is in the histogram. It's called a histogram, where there's a big mob of black pixels there. So that looks pretty good there. I'm going to kick that one in there. And then I'm going to just do an offset here so that we've got some nice contrast. All right, so now I'm just going to export that one as a image, as a black and white image. And I'm just going to call this moth 1. Okay, so we've got that moth. I'm going to jump into Lightburn now. I'm going to drag that file into Lightburn. And so we can see here, then I'm going to do a trace. Now, you can see here the details that it's picking up. And it looks pretty good to me. So what I'm going to do, that's just the default. You can play around with the sliders, and I have done a video on that as well, how to use the trace functionality in Lightburn. And I'll pop the link to that one up in the corner, or it'll be down in the description, either way. But let's just go default for the time being, and I'll just delete the image. And there we have, it's not too bad, just using the default settings. I can resize that one. I can pop that on my project and engrave it directly as a fill layer, and that's going to look pretty decent. So that's just one quick example of what you can do with these image archives, but there is so many images that you can that you could use in these archives. So definitely flickr.com/commons/usage, and just search to your heart's content. There is just so many old photos and things like that that could be useful and could really set you apart with your projects if you dive a little bit deeper and look for some of those very interesting sort of vintage style, because vintage is very big at the moment. So definitely jump into there and have a look and put some time aside for that one. The next site we're looking at here is called rawpixel.com, and that's something that you'll have to just create a free account for, and you just log in or join free. And they do have a paid program, but they also do have a free program. So that's another one there that you can definitely look at different designs and mock-ups and logos and all of that sort of thing, that they do have some free ones. Okay, so here we are, and let's look at the free ones. And there's a whole bunch of designs there that could give you some inspiration for your projects. Now, a lot of these are in colour, but here's some here, Be Young and Wild, with a bear design. So there's lots of different things that you can have a look at through there. But it's a good source of inspiration, and it might be a good source for some individual elements. So if we break down those elements, cobwebs, there's an interesting cobweb, some different sort of silhouettes there, and some artworks that, again, a little bit different, a little bit unique, that might just set you apart. So rawpixel.com is a really cool site that you might find here some of those vintage type photos and artworks and things like that. Now, a lot of these older artworks, they aren't covered under copyright because of the copyright expiration date on some of those artworks. If you're into skeletons, those sorts of things. But there's lots of different things that you can look at here that might be a really cool, interesting part of your project. So there's just a couple of sites that can help you with images. Definitely Flickr and the Creative Commons public domain images. There's a whole bunch of resources there that will keep you entertained for hours and hours. And I've been able to find some images there that I think are really cool and are definitely a little bit different. And they're more sort of like the architectural type building fronts and things like that can really just add another element to your designs that are just a little bit more unique. And that's exactly what you want, is something that is, and I'm probably a bit of a broken record, but it's going to set you apart. So the next area that we're going to look at is the SVG and vector and clip art and all those sorts of things. So the first one we're going to look at in this area is Creative Fabrica. You will just need to sign up for a free account. So a little tip for a lot of the players out there is, with a lot of these, you're going to get a lot of marketing material as well. So what I tend to do is I just create a separate little Gmail account that I can use for all of these types of sites. So that way, the only thing I'm really using that email for is a sign-in, so I don't need to check that one very often, because you will get bombarded with a whole bunch of marketing. But you are getting access to free resources, so it's understandable to expect that they will be looking to market to you from time to time. Now, Creative Fabrica, this is freebies for crafters and designers. So they come under different categories: free fonts, SVGs, graphics, embroidery, free classes. So if we look at, let's say, free SVG files, you can see there that there's pages and pages and pages of them with a whole bunch of different designs. Now, bear in mind, because they are free, there are other people that will be using these, and these, Creative Fabrica is a very popular site. So just bear that in mind. But certainly, if you're looking for something for personal projects and things like that, I can't necessarily guarantee, and you'll have to do your own research because I've sort of run out a little bit of time. You just need to double check that whether these are free for use in personal projects or whether they're free for use in commercial projects. So that's something that is on yourself, that you need to do that research yourself. But I'm just giving you access to these resources so that you can get started with some projects on your own. But heaps of different SVG files there that you can, with lots of sayings and things like that. If we jump forward a little bit, bunch of sayings and some really cool little things that I think would definitely be useful depending on the types of projects that you're looking at doing. So that's creativefabrica.com, and just create a free account, and then just under here, just go to all freebies and you'll be on your way. Another very cool site is freesvg.org. Again, you'll just need to log in and register your account. And basically, there's a whole bunch of files here, SVG format files, that are covered, as they say here, with the CCO, public domain license. So you'll just need to look that up. But if we go down here and if we go to the About Us bit here, that offers free vector images in SVG format with Creative Commons 0 license, which is public domain. So you can copy, modify, distribute, and perform their work, even for commercial purposes, all without asking permission. So that's freesvg.org, and sign up for a free account, and away you go. So the next site we're looking at is vecteasy.com, and you just need to get a free account, same sort of thing. And there's a whole bunch of free files there that you can use, and certainly just check the conditions, the terms and conditions, just to make sure that you can use them, whether they're used for personal use or commercial use. And there's heaps of different illustrations there, some butterflies, well, saves you the trouble like we did before. So there's some really cool stuff there. So plenty of resources available for you if you know where to look. But that's vecteasy.com, and sign up for a free account and you will find a whole bunch of stuff that you can use in your projects. Another site that we've got here is freepik.com. And now just another word, none of these sites I'm affiliated with. It's just a simple case that I've done a fair bit of research in finding these resources to make things a whole lot easier for you. But so this one, free account again, and I've just done a search for free, and I'm looking at vectors. So there's some cool little ones here that might be good for kids projects, some Halloween stuff there as well, and all sorts of things, arrows that could come in handy. So there's lots of different things to search for there, some nice sort of silhouettes. And again, you might just have to convert some of these, but skulls, all sorts of things, snowflakes, some cool stuff there. So freepik.com, and make sure that when you're doing a search that you're searching on, you can vectors, photos, all images, etc. And just make sure that you're selecting the license type, which is free. And again, just check the terms and conditions on whether that's for personal or commercial or both, and you should be good to go. Okay, so we'll jump into the laser project category now, and some of these will still be SVG files, but they're more, tailored towards the laser engraving projects, whether that be engraving or cutting out. And so the first one we're looking at here is K40 Laser Cutter. So it's a brand of laser engravers, and I think there's a few manufacturers out there that do offer a range of free projects that you can use. So for example, there under vectors we've got this pretty cool grizzly bear, and there's a whole there's a few there. There's not tons and tons of these, but there's certainly a whole bunch of sayings, free motivational SVG bundles. So that could be some cool for some, whether it be some coasters or those sorts of things for friends and family, all that sort of stuff. So there's a few free files, free projects there. Quite a few pages there, so you can have a look at those and use them at your will. So I'll just repeat this again. Just check that whether that's for personal or commercial use, or both. You just need to do that research yourself. So under there should be some terms and conditions of what you can use those files for. So that's k40lasercutter.com, and do some free laser cut files. There's a whole bunch there. Okay, so here's a couple more manufacturers. Auteur, so that's one of the lasers that I have, is the Auteur Laser Master 3. So they've got some Halloween projects, beer festivals, pet themes, all laser cut projects ready for you to have a crack at, and they're free to use. So jump into those, have a look there. There's some good files there from Auteur. And Epilogue Laser, they have a few project downloads as well. So, and what's this, Boss Laser? So they've got them categorized by material. So if it's acrylic, bear in mind that if you've got a diode laser, then you're going to want to do those with black acrylic, as the clear acrylic is really only any good for cutting with CO2 lasers. It's not something that you can do easily with the diode lasers, but there's a whole bunch of projects there under those different materials. Yeah, some really cool stuff. So do some research as to the other manufacturers as well, as to whether or not they have their own files. I know that Xtools, they will have their own, I think it's Creative Space or something like that, but they are files that only work with their software. So it's not something that you can use for Lightburn. In my research that I've done. So, and Xtools is not something that I don't have an Xtools laser, so it's not a program that I use. But check out all the other manufacturers and see what sort of files they might have as well. The next two repositories that we're looking at is Autodesk Indestructibles, and I've just done a search result, a search for laser cut, as you can see there, and there's a whole bunch of projects there that you can jump into. Now, a lot of these will actually have instructions on how to make them and how to go ahead with them as well. So there's some really cool projects there. The other site that I think is really cool is Ultimaker Thingiverse, which in a lot of cases is for 3D printing. But if you do the search for laser cut, you will come up with a bunch of projects there as well, a few different pages. So some things that you can look at. Now, the only thing I guess that you need to be aware of is that these are curated sites where people can just upload their files. And in the case of something like Star Wars and things like that, you just want to be a little bit careful in relation to whether or not the Joe Snuffy actually had permission to upload that. So just again, do your own research in there, but for personal projects and things like that, perfect place to have a look for some really interesting types of projects.
Rightio, well, there's a whole bunch of resources for you. So I've only just scratched the surface, and there's a whole bunch more that I have got available to you. So that's my gift to you. So as I promised, if you have stuck around this long, I have put together a spreadsheet with all of those resources available to you, and direct links to the websites, the category, and a brief description about what they're all about. There's about 40 different listings there, so there's a plethora of projects available to you, and all you got to do is there's a link down in the description. Click on that link, that'll shoot you off to my website, and just pop your email in there and I will get a copy out to you. So have fun with all of those resources, and I'd love to see what you come up with, and you know, just shoot me an email or whatever, and I'd love to see what you can put together. But if you've got any questions or anything like that, pop them down in the comments, and I'll get around to them in the next couple of days. But have fun with those resources. Until the next video, be creative and stay grateful. Bye for now.